Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you'll be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. No Impact stream tomorrow because it is a clip show.
Clip show.
Which in theory could, bring some of us who haven't been necessarily in the Impact zone up to date with what's going on. You don't want to reconsider, Larson.
Well, I mean, if I'll go with the consensus. If you're down and Forcer's down, I don't see any reason to not do it.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was firmly
no.
But okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's always good to revisit, some high points of the year.
Yeah.
In the Impact zone.
Yeah. What do you think their number one moment's going to be?
I mean, if it's not me buying an Impact shirt, it's probably something to do with Kenny.
It's got to be you buying an Impact shirt. That's what it's got to be.
It's just right over there.
So that's happening.
How about this? I know maybe 2/3 of us could have our Impact shirts by then. Enforcer won't. I need to mail that off. But if you stop by today, I can give you your Impact shirt.
Oh,
I have my Impact shirt.
Hell yeah. I don't know.
Then I feel it doesn't feel right unless Enforcer has his too.
I feel like we have to put off wearing those until the Enforcer.
Until Hard to Kill, probably.
Yeah.
I'll try to get Enforcers out this week. I should be able to do it tomorrow. I got to go run a couple errands tomorrow after we're done with our stuff. So
can't wait to be in the Act zone.
There you go.
It goes from the waist up.
It covers up the imp. It just says Act.
Act. Anyways, so that's going on then. And then Christmas Eve is now Christmas Steve. I'll be watching Avengers of Justice.
Farce
Wars. Thank you. Farce Wars.
Starring who?
Starring the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
That's right.
If there just happened to be a window under my window that showed like Fall Guys or Call of Duty or Rocket League or maybe even all three,
what's
would that
punishment
be
about
such
that?
An egregious crime?
Yes, it
Larson?
would, because there's no punitive aspect to it. It's supposed to be punishment.
How much do you want to pile on? You already won yesterday at predictions. You already won the prestigious Going in Raw Cup, and I even found a cozy for you to put on to make it an
I'll tell you
actual
what.
cup.
Considering you stole Big Red from me.
You know what?
Tip of the
another
iceberg
problem
in terms of restitution.
Okay. Can we do this though?
What?
Can we just do this? Can there be a moratorium on you consistently bringing up me stealing Big Red from you?
That was such an egregious violation of trust.
I won it legit for 8 months straight.
Yeah, but there was that month that preceded that you stole it from me. I won predictions at Wrestle Kingdom. It disappeared. And then you won it at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So there was a good 3 weeks that I should have been in possession of that title that I was not. I demand satisfaction. And until I feel satisfied, I will bring it up as much as I want.
It's been almost a year. It'll literally be a year very shortly.
That's a wound that's going to be slow to heal, I'll tell you what. Such an enormous violation of trust, not just mine, but our audience as well.
Oh my God! I think they're over it by now. I think that they're good.
I don't know,
by
man.
now.
I think a lot of people look at you entirely different now.
I've had so many people asking me to drop a shirt featuring the fine people over the Rancho Cordova Sheriff's Department whipped up that artist rendition of your face.
You drew that.
It has their letterhead on it.
Yeah, I'm sure you just found something online with that. I don't know. Maybe you know someone over there who gave you a blank piece of paper. I don't know.
So Christmas Steve joined me to watch that Shawn Michaels Avengers movie.
Parody movie, yeah.
Parody movie. On Christmas, Steve. That should be a lot of fun. And then, speaking of egregious crimes that you speak of, man got lit on fire last night, which may or may not have something to do with USA's new directive towards WWE that they want premium adult OnlyFans-esque content. What's going on with this, man?
So we've discussed this a bit. I think on our SmackDown recap, we talked about it briefly. We did definitely last night during our... You drank your eggnog already?
Oh, man, almost.
During our TLC recap, especially how it relates to The Fiend being lit on fire. That being said, let's get into this. Late Friday, TalkSports' Alex McCarthy reported that, quote, a source inside WWE said there had been a big reaction to the record low rating, and moreover, USA had a reaction too. This is a quote from McCarthy's source. USA Network are furious, the source said. They want more adult content, not sexy adult, but dark and violent adult. Meanwhile, over on Wrestling Observer's site, the Wrestling Observer himself took the Wrestling Observer forums to dispute McCarthy's report saying, quote, according to people who would know this is not true, while they are disappointed in ratings and do make suggestions, those were not the direction they have suggested.
Are those the same
reports here?
Are those same people who would know that it was true that Seth Rollins gave a rah-rah speech in front of the roster? Yeah, dude, I don't know. Again, we've said this before. Sources within companies probably have their own varying agendas when they talk to. So I'll be honest with you, man. The only person I trust anymore is Sean Ross Sapp. When it comes to this kind of stuff, it'll be. I guess the proof will definitely be in the pudding. I don't think that last night's finale to TLC
had anything to do with USA.
Had anything? It was just logically they have treated the Fiend like a horror movie villain for the longest time, and last night was simply a horror movie, play out before our eyes. It will be interesting though to see what creative changes they could possibly make to freshen up Raw and to get it to a place where USA would be happy. I mean, regardless, the through line or the main theme here is USA is not happy, nor should they be. These ratings are terrible.
Given the money they're paying to air Raw, they should expect ratings much better than this. Much better than this, given the enormous sum they're paying to air pro wrestling programming on their network. I understand that Raw is one of the most viewed programs on USA Network, if not the most. That being said, this is probably well below expectations.
And even just look, we've never claimed to be anything but big fans of the product, of pro wrestling. Yeah. And it's been increasingly difficult to bring a positive spin to Monday Night Raw, on a regular basis. It has been such a creative cesspool. It's been a slog, with some bright moments here or there. But, something's got to change and it ain't going to be, look, I don't care if there are fans in the building. It's not going to change the writing.
Yep.
So yeah, things really should really change, man.
They need to.
USA should. I know they have a big, a long-standing relationship with Vince McMahon, but they should be able to go to him and say, "Hey, dude."
They should. They have in the past. They should hold Vince accountable if the ratings are not to their liking, given again the enormous amount of money they're paying to air WWE product on their network. So if they're not happy, they have every right, and they should go up to Vince and say, "We demand satisfaction."
Gary MacArthur here in chat says, because this is a refrain that I've sort of, we both heard before in terms of the way people consume it. He says maybe they could stop showing all the good parts immediately afterwards on YouTube and Twitter so people actually have to watch the show. The problem is they do the exact same thing for SmackDown. SmackDown, especially basically since Roman came back, I would say SmackDown across the board has been creatively a much more satisfying show.
Oh, yeah.
From Roman trickling all the way down. And, it's consumed in the same way as Monday Night Raw. It's on a network with, sure, more viewer outreach, but the drop in ratings since COVID has been far less dramatic than Monday Night Raw. There is a difference there.
Yeah.
So I just don't buy that is part of the problem. You have 3 hours. That's a monster of a show to keep people engaged. They need to figure out how to do it. They really do.
This time of year, there's quite a bit of competition on Monday nights. Football. All sorts of sports. NBA is coming back tonight, I think. So, yeah, they need to do something to stand out amidst a crowded field of television on Monday nights. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. This would be interesting. Jorge D says, I can see this is not out of the realm of possibility. I could see NBC Universal eventually putting a WWE Raw on Peacock streaming to boost subscription numbers. For the right paycheck, WWE would have some like they were considering moving it, like putting it on Facebook. If Facebook cut like $1 billion check or something like that,
we'd have to stream Raw on Facebook with all those little emojis popping up. Like when Mixed Match Challenge was happening, you're trying to watch a match and people are watching it and putting their emojis up and they're all flying up and down the screen. Not distracting at all.
Yeah. Bunch of Christopher Kaufman emojis going by. So speaking of streaming services and Twitch, AJ Styles for the first time spoke at length about his Twitch account being suspended. This is what he had to say. This was a couple months ago. We reported on this, the edict that Vince McMahon demanded. WWE superstars had to suspend their activity on third-party platforms. He told this to Alex McCarthy. He said, myself, Xavier Woods, and Sasha Banks had a sit-down meeting in Connecticut with Vince about the situation, and it was determined it's intellectual property. This, he points to his face. We do well as far as WWE goes. If there's an opportunity to pay back that money we work hard for in different times, then we probably should. I was doing this long before the lockdown and the coronavirus. I was streaming and doing my thing, so I was always doing it on my time off. It wasn't during. So things happen. I wasn't happy about it. No one was. But it is what it is. I'll handle it the way I have to. I'm a team player. He's the captain. Talking about Vince. I'll follow his lead as far as Vince is concerned. He continues, will it change? They're working on something as we speak. Will I be happy with it? Probably not. Laughs. But the opportunity to stream in the future is wide open. I obviously have the equipment. I just don't have the opportunity right now. Little addendum to this as well. WWE announced today that Drew McIntyre is on Cameo, joining a handful of other current roster members on the platform.
Yeah, just a few.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is not, one thing that's not surprising, but reflects the Vince McMahon's way is that you have three superstars, all pretty smart people. You have Vince McMahon, smart guy. Didn't mention anything about any lawyers who would know about intellectual property rights. But I just we all sat down and we all determined that this is intellectual property. So Vince told you.
This is intellectual property. And it's intellectual property that is, while you're under contract, Vince is to exploit and use as he sees fit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this, none of the actual meat of this, I take much issue with. The bigger thing for me really is what seemingly nobody's disputed this, the way it was communicated to the wrestlers and the way it was just seemed to be blunt force. Hey, you're doing this. Stop doing this. It's not like they pulled the people aside. It was a small handful of wrestlers on Twitch, okay? And it was not that many people on Cameo as well. And it's not like they were pulled aside face to face and said, hey, listen, guys, we have some stuff in the works that we feel can make you more money, and we would like you to give us the opportunity to do this. And if you guys let us know how much money you're making, we will compensate you. They're making tons of money. They can't make a monetary offer to these people and say, hey, listen, and honestly, not necessarily that legally they have to, but from a perception standpoint, it just always feels like WWE's trying to dick over their wrestlers.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Yeah, it does feel that way, 100%.
It's like, it's just ugly.
It feels like, yeah, it is. It doesn't affect a whole lot of people. This particular incident shone a bit of a spotlight on the company in terms of how it classifies its wrestlers, independent contractors, when they are in basically every facet employees, but are not given the rights protections thereof. This affects a pretty relatively small subset of wrestlers. But totally, it's a situation where some of these people are probably making a pretty good dollar to cent doing their streaming or doing Cameo stuff, and to just go up to them or send them an email, something as impersonal as that, and say, you got to stop this right now, with no recourse for them, with no negotiation, without those talents having any say in this situation. Because I think Lana did an interview not that long ago where she was talking about this sort of things, and she was like, I've had a decent level of success, because she's done some marketing stuff on her Instagram, I believe. A decent level of success doing this stuff. I could be an asset to the company in terms of how to do this stuff. And why, if WWE has designs to work out a partnership with Cameo or develop their Twitch presence further, why not go to the people who are already doing it, utilize what they have learned, compensate them for that, and then use them to help broaden those platforms for the company, rather than saying, nope, you got to take it down. And then once everything's down, they go through the process of, what is it, kind of like relaunching their Twitch presence. And then after the fact, maybe involving people. Who knows? We just don't know. It just seems like there's a more collaborative approach they could take that would benefit them, engender some goodwill from their wrestlers towards the company.
The one thing that does seem relatively heartening is that, because you mentioned, I don't know. I don't know. You can sort of do a little bit of math because they often publicize, for example, the number of subs they have. Mm-hmm. The two people who really, it does actually seem like they made a pretty penny on Twitch anyways, was Paige and Thea Trinidad as Zelina Vega. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I do appreciate that both those people were basically like, no, I'm not giving that up.
Yeah.
And they drew a line in the sand. Thea ended up losing her job, but man, I think she does pretty damn well on Twitch.
Well, I'm guessing AJ probably made a decent chunk of change off Twitch. As a percentage of what he probably makes from WWE, his downside, it probably wasn't that much.
It was a bit, yeah.
So while the basic vibe what I'm getting from AJ here is like, yeah, it sucks, but considering the amount of money I'm getting paid to wrestle, that kind of seems to be his take on it. That's his take, though.
That's why. Well, I know, but that's why I feel like it was. You can honestly, the number of people who are actually doing this, and I'm just talking about Twitch. I have no idea what people are making on Cameo. I know Dijak got 15 of my dollars. No, was it Dijak? No, Dexter Loomis. I don't know. I forget if I bought the Dexter Loomis one or if somebody else. I think somebody else bought the Dijak one.
Yeah.
But he was only like $15. But the thing about Twitch was, the more popular a superstar you were, the better you do on Twitch. So AJ Styles probably did, relative to wrestlers on Twitch, decently compared to how much he's making with WWE, a pittance. Somebody like Drew Gulak, who we both love, would sit on Twitch, watch old wrestling matches, critique them, and he'd routinely have an audience of maybe 50 to 100 people. You don't see a lot of sub growth there. You don't see a lot of stuff going on there for it to really justify him continuing to do it. That's why I'm happy.
Other than he just enjoys doing it,
Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that kind of community building is great. And here's the thing. You always start somewhere, and who knows, maybe at some point he would have been at the kind of money that Thea Trinidad is making. I don't know. I can't say that. You got to start somewhere. But, it is heartening that it didn't seem like too many people were losing their asses by WWE clamping down on this. It is a shame that they're not allowed to build up their communities to allow them more opportunities in the future to grow even more. Exactly. But maybe, when AJ says, hey, WWE has some stuff in mind, I know, I think Mia Yim is heavily involved with the up, down, down stuff now. And so it seems like other people have been getting opportunities, and hopefully WWE will continue to give them other opportunities. And maybe their cameo rollouts for the superstars will be a really well-planned strategic rollout. Hey, a limited time, you can get this person for more money they would have made just sort of languishing on Cameo under their real names. Yeah. That's the hope. Will it happen? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And then another thing about this before we move on, with WWE having such a hard time appealing to the coveted all-important 18 to 49 demo, a demo who watches a lot of stuff on Twitch, to not use their superstars as outreach to that demo when you're struggling to gain new viewers is pretty foolish. It's pretty damn foolish.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Maybe that's you're right. You're right. I don't know who's in charge of their digital department that's going to be overseeing whatever relaunch on Twitch they have. But maybe they've got some interesting ideas on how to approach that. That's, again, more strategic than just a bunch of random channels that are not under the names of those actual superstars, a way that could get them more. You can only hope. Again, lacking the benefit of the doubt for the WWE.
Yeah.
And somebody also pointed this out. Some people in chat are pointing this out also, and I've noticed this as well. Like, Asuka still has her YouTube channel. Other WWE superstars have their YouTube channels.
Yeah, Charlotte and Andrade still have theirs. Yeah.
So it's like this weird thing where like somebody caught wind of like, oh, Twitch is the zeitgeist now. Let's do that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Something tells me it's just a goddamn mess over there, man.
Oh, for sure.
Anyways, talking about, well, I can't say they're a goddamn mess. Impact Wrestling, they got their shit together in
They
2020,
seem like they have
man.
their stuff together, yeah.
You know,
PW Insider has some details on Kenny Omega's Impact schedule between now and Hard to Kill. Their next pay-per-view happened in mid-January 2021. They're reporting that, quote, Impact Wrestling was scheduled to tape material with Kenny Omega this week in Florida for insertion into future episodes of Impact on Axis. The belief is that Omega will not be wrestling on the Axis TV series prior to the Hard to Kill pay-per-view on January 16th. Makes all the sense in the world. If you want to maximize number of people buying Hard to Kill to see Kenny Omega wrestle on Impact, you don't have him wrestle on Impact before Hard to Kill. Pretty basic.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to put him.
He's going to be on his bus. He's going to have invited guests on his bus. He might venture out of bus from time to time, but by and large, what we've seen from Kenny in Impact is what we're going to see from Kenny in Impact until Hard to Kill.
He might. I mean, he made his way to the backstage area.
That's what I'm saying. You might see him wander around the bus
way
on
to the
occasion,
ring,
but I think by
for
and
a
large,
promo. For a promo in the ring, maybe. Steve and Larson, an enforcer. I see you have your act shirts. All right, anyways.
Impact Zone.
Speaking of more wrestling in other places, NXT looks like they're going to be expanding to Mexico. Viva la Mexico. On the heels of reports that WWE is set to relaunch NXT India.
To launch.
What did I say? Set to launch.
You said relaunch.
Set to launch NXT India, as well as a possible NXT. As
well as possibly an NXT for NXT.
And NXT. Sorry, yeah. In the near future. Wrestling Inc. is reporting that WWE, it's this damn eggnog, man. I'm telling you, it's messing with my brain.
You sure you didn't put any rum in there or something?
I really should have, huh? Wrestling Inc. is reporting that WWE is looking to expand their NXT operations to Mexico. Here's the quote. Wrestling Inc. has learned that the company has also been discussing a Mexican Lucha Libre series, which would be an NXT Mexico of sorts. The show would reportedly air in the U.S. WWE has spoken with a few people about running the project, but it is very, very early on in the planning stages. One of the names being considered as a consultant on the project is Chavo Guerrero Jr. Chavo was an agent for Lucha Underground and was very involved with that promotion.
Yep.
That's exciting stuff. That's cool. I'd like to see that. I
don't know if you've been following Lucha Blog on Twitter. I believe AAA's YouTube channel, it's not. I don't know if it's non-existent or we just can access it from the States, but I believe their Facebook page is like region locked to Mexico right now.
One of the friendos, I think it might have been White Brownie, pointed that out to me, and I hit up Lucha Blog. I was like, do we know why AAA's YouTube channel is down? It is down. It's like, it's not even like everything's been privated. It's not you can't find it. It's got the little monkey cartoon guy.
Yeah,
saying,
you do a search.
Sorry,
you do a search for it, and nothing pops up.
Yeah, and you said their Facebook page is region locked to Mexico.
I believe so. You can only view it in Mexico.
What the flip? What is going on there?
There's I don't know exactly.
What is happening with that?
Let's see.
They still have their Pluto TV.
Yeah, I just go to their Facebook and it says this page isn't available.
What is happening there?
I don't know.
Twinewiner says use a VPN. Yeah, but that's sort of besides the point. The why is the thing.
Yeah, why is really the thing at this point.
Wow.
Anyways, talk Raw preview briefly. There's only one item. What's next for Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles after their epic clash? They come up with at least a sentence, a question to ask about Randy Orton burning Bray Wyatt alive.
Yeah. What consequences will Randy Orton face for immolation?
Should be a lot.
Lighting a guy on fire. I mean, there's no evidence to suggest that that Bray Wyatt survived.
No, all the evidence seems to suggest that he perished in that fire. Who got suspended recently for touching an official? Braun Strowman. He headbutted Adam Pearce, suspended.
Yeah.
So Randy Orton burns Bray Wyatt alive and no punishment, no suspension.
Not only did he burn him alive, he did his pose. Oh my goodness gracious! Somebody find. You think Laredo Kid would have kicked out of being burned?
Well, no, because it would have been a Laredo Kid dummy there actually being lit on fire.
This is a good point. Vegan Squirrel points out what you mentioned yesterday. The Fiend tweeted an hour after the pay-per-view I mean, that might have been like one of those, you can get one of those little, like TweetDeck or something like that where you can pre-schedule.
Yeah, you could schedule stuff in advance. Yeah.
A tweet.
Yeah. All right, let's answer the questions. I'm over here on the Twitters.
Same.
B-Man, Patrick Sparks says, first Johnny Swinger, now The Fiend, with USA wanting darker content. Who is most likely to commit more felonies? Does Dexter Lumis kill someone? I mean, he could be serial killer. I feel like that's been well established.
Yeah, I mean, they are leaning more towards him simply being an oddball caricature artist, though.
That's true.
So I think that, I'm not sure if you classify it. Maybe he's going to be an erotic caricature artist where he draws caricatures, but of sexual things. Hence but they said not sexy stuff. So
not sexy adult.
Not
Violent,
sexy adult.
Dark adult.
Not sexy like it should be.
I'm telling you, man, someone at USA saw Roman Reigns is like, we want a Roman Reigns on Raw. NJWP, so what next for The Miz? He's strongest when he's part of something, as part of a tag team stable or being managed, but hasn't done much on his own. NJWP says, happy Christmas and happy New Year to you and the Friendos. Thank you, NJWP. I don't know.
24/7.
I mean, I saw some chat 24/7. Yeah, some chatter that since he didn't physically hand the briefcase to the ref, like he could use that for a loophole to get that contract back.
Man,
because Morrison handed to the ref, the Miz was next to him going, "I'm cashing in."
That's I swear to God, if they do that, I'm quitting this show. That's the stupidest thing.
That would be pretty ludicrous.
The ring announcer announced it, and he participated in the match. That is a non-issue, man.
Yeah, I agree.
If they try to pull that, I mean, I don't know what the hell a cash in is then.
Yeah, no, I know. Nick, with TLC now in the books and the Rumble next, is Bayley still the end game for Sasha at Mania, or is Rhea getting her redemption story with Charlotte?
Oh, no. Rhea and Charlotte are not going to be around each other. I don't see that happening. I think Rhea's sticking around in NXT.
Well, I'll pause on that until we find out if there's some sort of stipulation for Rhea's match against Raquel Gonzalez at New Year's Eve. If they do some sort of loser leaves NXT, then...
Yeah, dude. What, like the Rumble or something? She'll show up in the Rumble? Yeah, maybe, huh? Yeah. I just think that Charlotte Asuka is going to be the Mania thing.
No, I think it will be too, and I think it should be. And then maybe after that, call Rhea up and have her have a feud with Charlotte.
Patrick Sparks, first Johnny Swinger, now The Fiend, with USA wanting...
I just asked that one.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, Gary McCarthy here in chat said Loomis draws dicks on the faces of those he defeats in matches, but in permanent marker. There you go. USA will be over 1 million. You'll break 1 million if you do that.
Over a million.
Juan Guerrero Jr., Mr. Triple Mania, what random matches in AAA would you like to see in a Firefly Funhouse setting?
Oh, Blue Demon Jr. versus Dr. Wagner Jr. Flaming Hammer, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's where they need to have. I want to see Blue Demon Jr. versus El Hijo del LA Park. They were having beef during their match.
Yeah.
So they need to take that to Firefly Inferno. Fuego.
Yeah. Joshua Culver. What do you guys think is a hidden gem pay-per-view? Joshua loves Survivor Series 94 with Hart versus Backlund, the Clowns versus King's Court, the breakup of Diesel and Shawn and Chuck Norris in the casket match.
Dude, 94 and 95 were such amazingly, hilariously bad years. But you can't find a pay-per-view that isn't wildly weird and entertaining in those years.
They were throwing everything they could. Everything
to see if it would stick.
Hidden gem pay-per-view. What is one we watched recently? I feel like one of...
For me, I don't know if it's a hidden gem necessarily, but Halloween Havoc 93, I think it was, where it was Vader versus Foley in that death match. Those are always kind of entertaining too, because you see like all sorts of weird names that pop up in later years in different forms. A lot of people were just coming up around that time that ended up being pretty decently big stars in the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah. There's one show I thought of, and not so much because the whole card is great, but the main event is fantastic. It's In Your House Mind Games.
Yeah, for sure.
Shawn Michaels versus Mankind for the WWF title. Fantastic match.
Dude, check out this lineup here, Halloween, just for weirdness. Halloween Havoc 93 starts off. Well, okay, that's a weird. Okay, so you have Ice Train Charlie Norris and the Shockmaster But the Shockmaster was already doing his like sailor gimmick or whatever that was.
No, he's like his construction guy
Yeah,
like
that's what it was. That's what it was. They beat Harlem Heat and the Equalizer. But Harlem Heat, I think that was like one of their first things. They were known at the time as Cole and Kane. So they didn't have like their normal names. The second match, Paul Orndorff defeated Ricky Steamboat. This is in 1993.
So the second match on In Your House Mind Games is Jose Lothario versus Jim Cornette.
I love that. It's just wrestling was so weird back then. I mean, I guess it still is. The fourth match on here is for the WCW United States Championship. Dustin Rhodes versus Stone Cold. Well, not Stone Cold, but Steve Austin.
Yeah.
This is the Hollywood Blondes probably back then.
Yeah.
You had the television champion, Steven Regal. War Games. Wrestling Davey Boy Smith. Sting versus Sid. Rick Rude versus Ric Flair for the weird WCW International World Heavyweight Championship that lasted all of like 2 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vader versus Mick Foley.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Gareth Nicholas, give us your best elevator pitch for a John Cena Christmas movie. Extra points if your casting includes Cena as Santa.
I am so looking forward to the Peacemaker stuff. I think that's going to be just wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
So a Peacemaker Christmas.
I'll say
where he tries to bring peace to the world, and it's just uber violence.
It's you cast Cena as a wrestler who has a Santa gimmick. That's his gimmick. He's Santa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Year round. Yeah.
Year round.
It's always
and
Christmas.
So he's leaving a show. He's walking to his car. Something falls from the sky. Santa. He had an unfortunate accident. He fell off the sleigh, hits the ground. Now it's up to him, Santa Cena, to get on that sleigh, find it, and save Christmas.
Oh, a great idea. That I'm actually shocked that didn't get made. Let's see here. White Brownie Nick with TLC now in the books and the Rumble next. Is Bailey still the end game for Sasha at Mania? Or is Oh, sorry, you already read that one too?
Yeah, I read that one too.
Yeah. Gee whiz, you're skipping all over the place. That's why.
No, they're all in order for me here. Nelson G,
weird.
What is your favorite match where the wrestler who lost the match looked as strong as the winner? It's got to be Okada Omega 1, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
That's up there.
Cactus Jack versus Big Van Vader. Halloween
There you
Havoc,
go.
1993.
That's good.
Paul
too.
Orndorff versus Ricky Steamboat.
Ricky Steamboat.
Halloween Havoc, 93.
You sure the Steamboat actually win that match?
I think it went to, I know the Regal Davey Boy Smith one went to a draw.
Oh, that was pretty common back then in WCW.
Orndorff won. Oh, by count out, though. It was by count out.
By count out. Dale and Dula. A herd of friendly, sentient, talking moose have just reached out to you. They would like you to assist in setting up the first ever wrestling show marketed toward the moose population. What do you call this show, and what talents, besides Moose, of course?
Oh, what?
Moose is in it, but we need other talents. The wrestler,
okay.
Moose. Do you recruit? I mean, obviously, Moose is in the main event. He's going to go over whoever he's wrestling.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it'd have Moose versus Braun Strowman. Moose goes over.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have Cal Jack on the card. Bear. I just have everybody with animal gimmicks.
Yeah, I don't know what other animals moosin are friendly with, or which ones they would consider rudos or technicos.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Taurus, right?
Yeah, Taurus. That's good.
Probably rudo.
Yeah.
I mean, technico, right? He'd be a babyface. Taurus
yeah,
is a
I guess
bull.
so. Yeah.
Taurus is a bull.
Yeah.
Do moose and bulls get along?
I don't know. Depends. Well, I mean, if they're fighting over land, probably not.
I saw a video clip from the Twitter account Nature is Metal, where like a horse, like a whole, what do you call a bunch of horse that are together?
Don't
It's on
remember.
a flock.
Herd.
Herd?
No, not herd.
I don't think it's a herd.
Cow. I don't know.
Anyways,
continue.
they find a bison.
Yeah.
And they sort of sniff each other out, and then they're cool with each other, and the bison just sort of hangs out with the horses. Is it a flock of horsen? According to Zachariah?
It's not.
GT Racers claims it's a herd.
Oh, it could be. Thomas Speller, what is your favorite Royal Rumble? Or what? Yeah, what is your favorite Royal Rumble? 92. One Flair one. That one's great.
That is a really good one. That's a good one. Which was it? Was it like 95? No, what's the 94? 94, the year that Brett and Luger both laid claim to winning.
They got eliminated at the same time.
What a weird year that was.
They were just trying anything, man.
They were just trying everything and anything. I like the weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What's next? Is this Dojin TYT? Should the Fiend have two modes after coming back, like the standard normal Fiend and then some sort of super Fiend, all melted and charred, whatever condition the storyline would call for the future feuds?
Are we gonna get like the closest? They're gonna do Raw Gate Mutant, aren't they? With the Fiend.
That'd be something else. Now, if he starts absorbing other superstars, then we might have to initiate legal proceedings.
Dude, I mean, if you think about it metaphorically, he kind of does. He's got all those pictures behind him with like wrestlers and their faces crossed out.
Like he absorbs their souls or some aspect of them because they're all changed afterwards.
Dude, is Bray Wyatt a fan? Does he watch We Book Raw?
Maybe we should reach out.
He's gonna start wearing some Raiders gear.
I know. If he starts referring to himself as Beefy Dubs, then we know.
Dude, then for sure.
Hey, Bray, make a Beefy Dubs reference in the Firefly Funhouse, and we'll know.
Oh, man. Okay. I got you guys.
Panda Police Club, what is the best way for Raw to do a quick fix to their ratings after the huge positive reaction at TLC? Is follow through. That's what WB is terrible at, follow through. So they got a lot of people were talking about the Fiend being burned alive. It's a 50-50 proposition if the Fiend will even be on the show tonight. In any like Randy will maybe make a passing reference and move on to something else. You know what I mean?
Here's how you do it, right? Drew opens the show. He's doing those dad jokes that he seems to like and think that are charming, but they're really not. And I feel like Drew, he's gone through that. He's done with AJ. He's done. Or how about this? Drew comes out, dad jokes. AJ Styles comes out, says, "Hey, I didn't get my one-on-one because The Miz cashed in. Now that that's over and done with, I want my one-on-one." They're about to come to blows. Almost is in there, who was, untouchable yesterday when Morrison tried to get him with the chair. Lights go down, Fiend stuff comes up, and in the red light, you just see this melty Raw Gate Mutant type guy, and he's like limping to the ring. And he just like destroys Almost in front of, and then they do like a weird effect where he starts like chewing on his face. And I don't know. Then he like Drew is all fun and games, but then he has to deal with Raw Gate Mutant now, like he did with 2020. And there you go. I don't know. I think like some of it's pacing. Some of it is just like, dude, follow through with your stories.
Yeah, I think there's not a quick fix because the issues are so deeply rooted in their normal order of business on Raw. You have to revamp, I think, the whole creative process for Raw.
Raw is usually helped when it starts off with, you know what they need to do, man? I keep on thinking about this too because all the, I read somewhere that Vince is really, really high on Bob Lashley. Considers him like a guy, like get him versus Drew for Mania or something like that. Do a Hurt Business versus Drew thing, like go hard on the Hurt Business. Do this. Have Lashley beat Drew for the title at like Mania, vacate the United States Championship, and then Keith Lee picks that up, joins the Hurt Business. Do a tournament where Keith Lee joins a Hurt Business. That'd be rad. Give him something to do.
Greg Morris, what are the chances the arson will lead to the more adult content USA wants? We kind of answered that in the beginning of the show. I don't think those two things are necessarily related. I think whatever they had planned for Fiend versus Orton, they had planned for a while. Reed, what's the one reaction to see Vince taking overnight to try to fix the rating quick? And how dark does USA want WWE to get with some sponsors causing the PG era? See, like the stuff, they can't get too dark. They can't get too violent on TV because they're sponsors, they're stockholders. There's other people that WWE has to keep happy outside of the company, and they have to keep those considerations in mind when making these kind of decisions. So,
yeah, I just don't think that being dark, like overly dark or violent, is And that's
is the
like,
answer unto itself.
dude, if AEW can get away with blood every once a month, they'll do that on TNT. They'll have blood. WWE can do that. I mean, the shareholders probably want, they want a successful company more than anything.
Yeah.
And you don't have to show full penetration to do that.
Nope.
Let them say shit once in a while.
Yeah.
Is AEW, is Dynamite TV 14 or is it just TV whatever?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody knows.
The real deal. Do you see AEW having higher ratings than Raw in 2021? If so, how and when? I mean, if Miz had won Money in the Bank or won the title last night, the odds of that happening would have been far greater than otherwise. It's going to take, if AEW ever gets up to 1.5 million, it's going to take a while. They didn't even get that in their first episode.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They have done so many things so right, so correctly. Yeah, I'll put it this way: if the trajectories continue along the same path, by the end of 2021, it's going to be threatening.
Well, and I think
it's going to be threatening.
That would have more to do with Raw's ratings going in the absolute toilet. I kind of feel like as long as NXT is on Wednesday nights, it's going to cap AEW to a degree. Not a ton, but they're not going to get to 1.5 million. AEW
I wouldn't say
by the end
that.
of next year. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised.
I wouldn't say. What if CM Punk shows up at All In?
It might pop. It would pop for a bit, but I don't know if they'd be able to sustain it.
Dude, it's AEW.
I understand.
Sometimes you have to divorce yourself of the WWE way of doing things. And remember that AEW does a lot of stuff correctly.
I know they do. Who are you talking to? I'm number one AEW shill around here. I want them to get.
Doesn't sound like it.
Because I'm grounded in reality. That's why.
I'm shocked that they're flirting with. Well, I know this past week they weren't, but that one 2 weeks ago, I was kind of shocked that they were flirting with 1 million. But it's just honestly they do it's been barely a year they've been on TV.
Yeah.
And look at how well they're doubling their expectations.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. For me, they got the benefit of the doubt. They'll be able to increase their ratings by a couple 100,000 by the end of 2021. And WWE cannot convince me that their ratings will not continue to free fall.
Well, if AEW increases their ratings by a couple 100,000 on a consistent basis, then you're talking around 1 million per week, which is still 500,000 short of what Raw's doing now. And yes, Raw's potential is there for Raw to dip. If it gets anywhere close to 1 million, then there's going to be some massive upheaval within the company. Massive. Carlos, since Shayna and Nia lost the tag titles and Shayna took the pin, can you see a realistic path for Shayna into the women's title reign in 2021? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll probably have a feud. Shayna and Nia, whoever comes out of that, will be next in line after Asuka and Charlotte. And then who knows from there? Jason Lewis, do you think WWE will ever have a finger poke of doom moment where a creative decision turns off so many fans that the company can't recover? If Miz had cashed in, maybe.
Dude, I'm telling you. They were entertaining that. They were entertaining putting the title on Miz, who's booked no stronger than Lince Dorado. Yeah, might even be by summer. Hasn't AEW beat Raw twice in the demo?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
18 to 49, yeah.
I'm telling you, man. It's going to happen.
Nathan's Broken Day. What is the worst match you have ever seen?
The worst match I've ever seen?
Yeah.
You want to limit it to live?
Okay.
Maybe it was that Supreme Pro Wrestling show where everybody brought weapons from the crowd.
Oh, the worst match I've ever seen. It wasn't so much the quality of the match as that someone got lit on fire at the end. That one. That's the worst match I've ever seen.
Supreme versus the Enterprise.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was fighting exactly.
It was Kid Chaos, I think.
Was it Chaos?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Kid Chaos versus Supreme.
Yeah, that was a mess. What about the ECW match where XPW tried to get involved in it?
Oh man. Heel Long Heavy. What do you get the following people for Christmas? Oh, what do the following people get you for Christmas? Nice. Sorry. Vince. What does Vince get?
Wait, hold on. Adrian C says, relax on the Lindsay Dorado talk, dude. Subbed to the channel last week. What? Explain yourself, Adrian C. I love Lindsay Dorado.
Yeah, Lindsay's great.
I'm just saying he's kind of in the 24/7 scene. You know, it's fine. Eric from the Viking Raiders. Has he subbed to the channel? That's how strong Miz is booked. Well, yeah, he was here. What? The Lindsay Dorado was here?
There was someone whose name was Lindsay Dorado that subbed to the channel.
Have we confirmed that it's actually? Oh, okay. Well, Alex C said it was just somebody named Lindsay Dorado. Well, still, apologies, NWO Lindsay Dorado. What was the question? I'm sorry.
What would Vince get you for Christmas?
I don't know what kind of birthday gifts Vince. Like, I don't know.
No, Christmas. What would Vince get you for Christmas?
Yeah, I don't know what he would get people for Christmas. Like an axe, like a gift card for like an axe throwing place.
Snow cone machine.
So I can go throw axes.
Totally a snow cone machine.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next on this list? And then there's The Fiend. What would The Fiend get you for Christmas?
Probably like a blood-soaked rocking chair. Or a puppet. Like a puppet. Like a really gnarly puppet.
A Larson puppet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it would be.
And I would get a Steve puppet. Baron Corbin. Meat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, meat. I'd totally be down for that.
What would Cody get us for Christmas?
Like a Cody shirt or a Cody action figure. If he knows me, he'd get me like some Star Trek memorabilia.
Yeah. Did you see his power rankings of Star Wars movies?
Yeah, he had Mandalorian at number 7, which Mandalorian is like the best Star Wars there is.
He had Attack of the Clones somewhere in the middle of the pack too.
Revenge
and
of the Sith was number 3.
Attack of the Clones is one of the worst movies ever made. Johnny Swinger. It'd be a fanny pack with the kayfabe compartment.
Mm-hmm, yeah, exactly.
Yep. Alex Foster says apparently WWE and New Japan used to have a partnership several years ago. No real question. Just thought it was interesting. WWE used to do collaborations
Back in the day,
all the time.
Man. All that stuff was going down.
Wow, Fear and Loathing said, with The Fiend being set on fire last night, how far are we from a pay-per-view event called The Purge, and how would you book it? It'd be like a championship scramble, but like a street fight, too.
And it'd be like, 2.5 hours long, and it would be matchless, really.
Yeah, it would just be one fight, scramble, whoever comes out on top at the very end, and that's the winner.
It'd be like a really dark version of the Money in the Bank match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, that's it.
All right, well, we'll stick around here on Twitch for a little while and hang out with the friendos. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.